Charlie Kirk was my boss. I was the first Black woman he ever hired for his organization, Turning Point USA. Years before I was Gabby Faye, the model, I used my government name, and I was Gabrielle Fakir, political right-wing activist, grassroots organizer, working for Charlie Kirk. I have since changed my political views and stances on a lot of things. But I do have a few stories from back in my political days that I can share with you. I remember coming off of a political campaign working for another organization when I found out about Turning Point USA. They actually reached out to me because I actually have actually double majored in political science and psychology. That was my pre-law. I was going to law school, but on my graduation day for my first degree, I realized I don't really like school. I'm more of an artist. I'd rather move to LA and like be a starving artist and like do music and acting and stuff. I digress. My Caribbean parents were not happy about that. They would have preferred me to be a lawyer, but hey, it worked out. Now I'm on Times Square billboards and I model for Nike and I have a successful career. I'm very blessed. Back when I worked for politics, like I said, Charlie Kirk and his organization found me. They interviewed me. They offered me the job. I remember the very first day I walked into that room dressed to the nines. I had my suit on, I had my pearls, I had heels on. It was giving Olivia Pope, okay? I had to be on top of things. When you are the only Black woman in the room, you gotta work twice as hard. You gotta step your game up. I had a lot to prove, of course. I remember that first day I was walking to my seat for training and Charlie gave me the gummiest, biggest smile. He was so happy that I was there, like I was overly qualified for the job. And I remember Turning Point flying us out to Chicago, which is where Charlie's from. We were the outskirts, and they gave us hotel, like a really nice hotel. And we had like the weekend to kind of hang out and just have fun before like the real work start. So it was like 9 p.m. and we all got dressed in our bathing suits ready to like go to the hot tub. And I remember walking past Charlie and like his group with like me and my group. Like my group was the party group because we just like wanted to have fun. So I remember inviting Charlie. I was like, Charlie, you're gonna go to the hot tub with us? And he was like, nope. And you just knew that this guy, he was keeping his nose clean. He was not trying to mess up or put himself in a position to be judged later on when he's running for president or running for office. So like, he just had this sense to know that I don't want to be in a compromising position where they could use this against me later in politics because that's how the game goes. I respect it, honey, okay? I was trying to have fun. We were having the time of our lives because like the other coworkers, like we all just got there and we were just like, yeah, so it was really fun, lots of laughs, good times until it wasn't, okay? And I can get into that as well. But yeah, that was like my first day. Fast forward and I can get into details if you guys wanted to comment below what questions you have. I did experience really bad treatment. I did experience racism. Honestly, working for Charlie Kirk and this organization is what woke me up to the sad realities of some people's prejudice against me. And the fact that I stood my ground on certain things and I just didn't see eye to eye to a lot of the ideologies being pushed in place. So I was like, I'm not sure if this is it for me, Yeah. The first day of work was awesome. The first weekend was really fun.